Welcome back to the channel. My name is Gio and this is our 2025 Toyota Land Cruiser that we've had a few months now. I was researching dash cams and finally came to the conclusion that this one was going to be the best fit for us. It's the FiTCAMX dash cam with the front and rear kit in the 4K. You can get this with just a front kit alone if you want, but we wanted just to have the extra protection for the rear as well. Now in this video, I'm going to show you how to mount the front, which will be the same as if you get the option without the rear. And we're going to go ahead and just run the wire all the way back and mount up the rear camera as well. Aside from that, it's pretty much just like any other dash cam. There's an app that you got to download, set up. It works off of Wi-Fi. And this one has a nice feature where it just overrides the old video. So you don't really ever need to go in there and clean it up. But it's always good practice just to make sure everything's recording every once in a while. Now, we're going to unbox this just so you can see one of the reasons why I chose this. Now, the original optional dash cam is horrendous looking. It's a big giant block. I'll put it up on the screen right now. And it actually, in my opinion, it gets in the way of your view. Some guys have removed it and put it over to the passenger side, but it's still very clunky. And you have to use a Toyota app, which a lot of people don't like, just because it's not a great, easy to use app. So this is the dash cam right here, and what it does is it mounts to the bottom of your mirror. This is only going to be applicable to, I believe, the premium package, which has a lot of the features in the front as far as lane detection and front cameras, rear cameras. I don't know if the 1958s are going to have the same mirror. So just keep that in mind before you order. But basically, the camera's integrated into this ABS mold and they make it replace the stock one. This is going to be the rear camera. So let's see what we got here. Some tabs with double-sided tape to route the wire if you're going to use them. But we're going to try to tuck this up in the headliner and run it back. This camera has double-sided tape right here to mount, and let's see, it's telling you which way to mount it, so it wants to be this way up, and you can dial in the adjustment here. Aside from that, I see a couple of protecting films right here and right here that we'll have to take off, but other than that, let's get started ripping apart the front, and then we'll do the rear after. Okay guys, like I mentioned before, this is relatively easy. We're just removing the OEM pieces, and that is by pulling this piece out. So you're pulling it straight back towards yourself. And then we're going to go ahead and drop this downwards. Now if you look, there's a hook right here, and that's going to receive this piece. And then there's a hole right here, and these white clips go in there. So we actually need to take these clips off and transfer it onto the new piece. So these clips are going to go right here. Okay, so I totally forgot to unbox this box that was hanging out on the side, which has the wire adapter harness. So we're going to have to plug in the rear camera, and then we'll need to plug in the front camera. And from there, we're going to plug this into the mirror and the factory harness. I had that wrong, so this is going to go in here. And then this guy goes here. And that's it for wiring. From here, we're going to slide this back up onto these latches. I'm gonna leave that there for now until we get everything else rerouted. And last piece you'll need is the upper portion. Wow, that was ridiculous to get installed. But the way their top mount mounts up, this piece has to be angled really high for the two hooks at the very end to go in first before you can clip it down. Because if those two in the back don't go in first, it does not sit flush. This piece comes up, and you can tell by the first time I snapped this in. The original one is a little bit different, but I'll try to show you that right now just so you have a better idea. And right here you can see those little hooks I was telling you about. So those are on the FiTCAM one, and you have to get those to land in this square first before you can snap it down. Otherwise this will be uneven because it won't be in that hole. So let me see if I can pop this out. So if you do this, OEM drops right in, but since these are not there, you can try to put it on like this, and then you get bad fitment like that. It'll literally look like these two right here. So you'll know when you get it right on the FiTCAM one when it's fully seated. Now I did look to see if I could throw the OEM one on the FiTCAM one, but the texture and the finish is just so slightly off. I figured it was going to be worth the extra work to actually make it fit and use all the pieces that came in the kit. Okay guys, you saw how easy it was. We tucked in the harness just up above the headliner. We're going to do the same all the way back. If you follow my channel at all, you know that I've already spoken about sound deadening this thing. So this is next on the project list. Once I drop the headliner a little bit to add some sound deadening on the roof, I'll rerun that wire a little bit better. But for now, if you don't ever plan on doing that, this should accomplish the same task without having to drop the headliner. So we're using the plastic tool that comes in the kit to pop these out, and we'll need a 10mm. Okay, so right here we've got a white clip that pops into the frame. Nothing too crazy, but we are learning as we go along because I don't know anything about this car. You can actually tuck it behind the side curtain airbag right here. There's a black plastic cover that you could tuck behind the side curtain in case you're worried about that. So right here, we're probably gonna have to do the same to get this popped off. And they also have a 10 mil holding this handle. Okay, so right here, you're gonna have to get the wire and put it in between the headliner and this plastic piece, but shove it forward that way. There's no way you're gonna get that out right now. So shove it inwards and you won't have to mess with much else. But don't worry, I'm gonna go over everything that I had to pop off and access after I'm done with this. Okay, so first we have this handle, which has the caps that we popped off. Then there's a 10 mil behind each one, which is right here and right here. Once you take that off, you just pull the handle out. Now, if you look in here, you can see the white clip that's holding it. So you're pretty much just gonna grab this and just tug it. And we're not going any farther than that on this piece. Now from there, you're gonna go ahead and grab the door sill and you're gonna pull it down. And the reason you do that is these guys are gonna have clips that go behind the sill. So if you try to take this off with the sill on, you're gonna bend the clips or break them. So you definitely want to pull it down at least this far. And we're gonna go around to the other side. So this handle right here is gonna have two 10 mils as well with the caps that we take off. So caps, 10 mils, pull the handle out, and we're gonna go ahead and pull this out. And right there you can see the clip that's holding it. And you can actually see the wire that we ran here for the camera. This one doesn't have the prongs, so you don't really have to worry about taking the seal down too much. But you do have to take the seal down to get the wire all the way across, which you can see right there. And this guy is also going to have those tabs for the seal or the gasket, I don't know what you call it, but either way. This guy was actually really easy to pop off. There's just one clip. I don't know if you can see it. It's that blue one right there by my pinky. No screws or anything on this one. So right here is where I kind of got worried for a sec. I didn't know how this plastic piece and this meet up. I don't know what's in it, and if, you know, frankly, where to go from here. But I got the wire and I kind of just pushed it inwards and it started going in the crack. So I was confident that I could just keep going that way and just shoving it in, feeding it all the way through. And then you also have to get it through that last corner right there. From there, you're pretty much free and clear. This panel right here pops out. So you can just grab it right here and then pull it out, and same goes for right here. Now, you're not going any further than that because down here, it is actually bolted to the body, and then this panel right here clips over that. So if you see, I'm pulling this clip back, and then you can see down there where this panel is actually behind the bigger one. So you'd have to take off this whole deal right here to get this one out. So what we're doing is we're just popping it back, making room for the wiring. Last but not least, we have the camera that needs to get mounted, and I went ahead and decided against mounting it here because you're gonna have a bunch of wire that you need for slack at full extension, and then when it closes, it's gonna have to go somewhere, and I just don't want to see it. So my second plan was something like this, but I don't want double-sided tape on the headliner, and I was also thinking maybe getting some Velcro, double-sided Velcro, and sticking it to the headliner as well, but eventually it'll actually fray that. So I have these really strong magnets that I bought, I believe at Home Depot. If not, I'll look up the Amazon link for the equivalent, but they're really strong, and I'm going to use one and actually double-sided tape it to this guy and then drop one on the top of the headliner and use a magnet instead. That way we do have full reversibility if we want to go back to stock. So the magnet lost a little bit of strength because of how thick the headliner is, but either way, we're gonna run it like this and just see if it stays really stable while driving. If not, we'll go ahead and take off the magnet and put Velcro. Either way, I'm keeping it on the headliner. I'm not gonna put it onto the hatch itself, just so it looks a lot more tidy. And then we just have to pop on the panels, put the rubber door seal back on front and back. And last but not least, let me show you what the camera actually looks like installed. So that cap is basically a replica of the original, and then we have the camera center mounted on the bottom. And again, it does have the buttons to just make it really easy to use and blend in like it was meant to be there. So here we got the buttons right here, and we're just going to download the app and get that all situated. There's a bunch of instructions on how to do that. And that's pretty much a wrap on this install.